goodness, what in the 2022 is this? Am I doing Marvel Legends reviews?
You damn right!
Oh, that is right. Finally, we're back, baby. And I got a whole bunch of old Marvel Legends to go through, so we're going to kick things off with the Spider-Man Retro Wave, the most modern Marvel Legends that I currently have in my collection. I was going to do individual reviews for these, but then I thought, you know what? This is kind of old news now, but it's new for me. So I'm going to do them all together. We're going to do a full wave, a complete ranking. We're going to separate the best from the arguably not great. You want to hear about them? Here it goes. So starting off in no particular order, I'm going to take a look first at Spider-Man Unlimited. This was a sleeper hit of this wave. This was one of the figures I was least excited about getting because it's Spider-Man Unlimited, and I will always hold a bit of a grudge against this character and this look because when that show came along, I was jonesing. I was desperate to get some more of the original 94 TV show, and they didn't do it. They went, no, let's take things in a strange new direction. And I was like, why? You were going in such a good direction. And it turns out it was because James Cameron was putting together his Spider-Man movie, which never happened, but they didn't want to encroach on that, so they had to do something that didn't actually reference any of the normal Spider-Man stuff, which is just bafflingly frustrating. But there we are. Or was it even the Sam Raimi was gearing up? Whatever it was, it totally put the kibosh on continuing Spider-Man 94, so instead, we got Unlimited. But one thing that I will say is that the costume was kind of cool. And now Hasbro have recreated it with this figure here, and damn it, I actually kind of like him. One thing that really surprises me, above and beyond everything else, is the fact that he has so much actual sculpting going on here. Because when this was previewed, I thought this was all just going to be painted. And you can call me an old cynic for thinking that, but why wouldn't I? Because if Marvel Legends can just paint something on, you know they will. But instead, if we give them a checkup from the neck up, shall we say, or in this case from the neck down, you got the lovely spider logo that's all sculpted on here, so it's raised up. Then also the markings on his arms as well, going down to the big old wrist gauntlets that are beautifully sculpted around his arm, wrapping around those. That's sweet, man. That's real nice. And then going down the legs, he's got these little lines on the back of his calves as well. Adds value. It adds the value to the figure and just makes it feel like you're getting a bit more of your money's worth. Because you do need that. Because besides the sculpting, he's pretty bare bones. There's not much else going with him. Different pair of hands, that's about it. I actually don't have the accessories with me. I've got those in a different box, but I'll check up on them when I do the actual edit for this. But we're talking about the meat and potatoes over here. And a meat and potatoes figure is what this is. And he's okay, but he is just okay. Because also, I got a couple of caveats, which is an unusual thing, is that I would have preferred cell shading. I hate to even say it. Ugh, gotta wash my mouth out. But this was actually crying out for cell shading because that was the style of the cartoon. It was so heavily inked and shaded that it really would have looked so much more genuine. It would have looked like it was straight out of the cartoon, especially because his red head feels so plain. A spider head without any webs. I realize I'm just describing the Scarlet Spider, which I adore that design. So, hypocrite warning, but I feel this is too plain. If it had some black shading, some cell shading on it, I think it would look so much more dynamic. So it's a bit of a shame that they don't have that. But I think the shape of the eyes is nice, and also they are raised as well. So once again, not just printed, but actual slightly raised lenses, a unique head for this Spider-Man. Takes him a long way. And then with the web cape on the back, that's real nice too. Full on 2099 style. And I dig it. It reminds me of the absolute garbage 2099 cape that the Mezco Spider-Man has, which, hey, I love Mezco and I love that figure, but he has his flaws. This This is a good-looking web cape right here. You can't rotate it or anything because it's not pinned in with a peg, but it is pinned in with a peg. Well, what am I saying? But it's kind of like it's glued. Like it ain't rotating, but that's fine. I would have it going down anyway. So yeah, everything else with this figure, it's the basic kind of, is it the Vulcan body? I want to say it's the Vulcan body. So you got the nice wide shoulder articulation there, so we can go into some good dynamic spider poses, the usual kind of leg thigh articulation. I'm not going to go over all of that because if you're watching a channel all about Marvel Legends reviews, then chances are you know how a Marvel Legend articulates. Pinless joints, always, as it should be in the year of our Lord 2025, but with the stark, bold colors, he kind of pops. And this guy, I gotta say, he's a genuine surprise. Now we've got a slightly more dubious one. It is the Aaron Eckhart version of Venom. Agent Venom. There you go. That little brain fart there. Yes, a lot of people were asking for an update to Agent Venom, and we've got him. And it's kind of a monkey's paw because it's an improvement in some ways and a bit of a downgrade in other ways, which is pretty crazy. I mean, really the only thing that the original one, I think, had going against it was the ball joint hips. It was on a very old body, so it was worthy of an upgrade. And this has some upgraded features, but the big bone of contention that a lot of people have, and rightly so, is that there's no hip, there's no waist swivel, which is really odd. I think what kind of annoys people the most is we can't really see why. He's got the torso swivel, which is nice, full 360 degrees, and you can crunch him forward as well. So he's got a reasonable range of motion there, but just nothing at the waist, which again, because he's wearing a belt, that would hide that waist swivel pretty well, because I always bang on about Marvel Legends having that flat disc waist swivel, which always looks bad. This dude's wearing a belt. You could have put the cut in there. It would have looked seamless. Instead, they just didn't do it at all. And that's a frustration I often have with Marvel Legends, where you'll see things and you're like, why didn't you do that really obvious thing? And the answer often feels like, couldn't be bothered. I'm looking at you, X Factor Jean Grey's boots. But if you don't worry too much about that, the rest of the figure is nicely done. I do love the Agent Venom design, where he's got this kind of spiky beetle sort of armor. That's really well represented here. And what I would say, the one word that I really associate with the look of this figure is clean. It's a real clean figure. Everything is nice and neat. The line work on the spider, that's beautiful. Plus, it's sculpted as well, just like Spider-Man Unlimited. Give a lot of credit for that, okay? I'm doing a little bit of a compliment criticism sandwich here. All of the white lines here are raised. That is big, all right? I appreciate the work that's gone into doing that. That makes it feel a bit more valuable. So also, he's got a nice mix of shiny gloss paint and sort of a flat matte as well. So even though he is literally just two colors, that's it, just black and white, the fact that they're going for a matte and a gloss does give some distinction between the different panels. It makes the suit feel more alive and organic. So again, I like that. Good stuff. Credit where it's due. I appreciate that. And then also just for the general design of Agent Venom, I love the kind of bomb vest looking kind of collar. That's sort of what I associate it with. Very militaristic, but just looks kind of wicked. There's always a cool aesthetic about that kind of design. Whether it's Apocalypse's raised collar or Cable has that sometimes, it just looks neat. Also, the shoulder pads are great, and they don't limit movement too much as well. You can still get him into a decent kind of T-pose, even with these here. They move reasonably freely. It's a soft rubber or soft plastic that they're made of, so it doesn't limit his movement. The only thing that limits his movement is the fact that his waist won't move. So that's a little bit of a shame, because even though he's a militaristic, gun-toting type character, he's still a spider. He's still part of the spider family, so he should be able to move and swing and articulate like a Spider-Man, but not really so much in this case, and that's a down point towards him. However, he does have an alternate head, which the original Agent Venom didn't. Double, however, it looks like Aaron Eckhart, which is just strange. I mean, did no one see that and go, hey, why are we doing Aaron Eckhart? That's meant to be Flash Thompson. I mean, the funny thing is, it's not a bad face sculpt by any means. It's well done. I still think Marvel Legends are crushing it on their face sculpts. So it just kind of baffles me as to why this one looks like that. It's a good face sculpt for the wrong character. It doesn't scream Flash Thompson at me. So generally, I gotta say, even though this does have nice points, and he's got the good accessories with the guns as well, that's good stuff. I like that. But on the whole, it is a little bit disappointing. I would have happily swapped out the Aaron Eckhart face for maybe a venomized mouth and tongue face or some different shaped eyes. There are other ways you could have gone about it. So this is a good but flawed version of Agent Venom. Now a real, I was going to say Marmite character, but I don't actually know anyone who does like him. Maybe there are plenty of people out there. There must be, because he's got a solo series and it seems to be doing okay. But we're talking about Bailey Briggs. Is that his name? I think it is. Spider-Boy, who is another one of those characters who, unless they do some other retcons, has that really eye-rolling origin of, oh, he was always here. People just forgot about him. It's like, ugh. Like, okay, I'll allow that for Dawn in Buffy, and I'll allow that for the Sentry, because it was still a relatively new concept at that time. Let me know in the comments if anyone else has ever done that origin. But dusting that out of mothballs for this guy, no, I don't need Spider-Man to have a kid sidekick. I really don't. Isn't that what Miles Morales is meant to be? Spider-Man's like a granddad now. So, that notwithstanding, what we do have here is a surprisingly pretty good figure. Actually, this was one that I was totally not plussed about at all. When we originally got this revealed, I was like, ah, geez, Spider-Boy, seriously, are we doing this? But we have done it, and I don't hate it. So just first of all, the striking colors I really like. Okay, you got the bold red and blue, which is very neatly painted on here. No smudging, no smearing, nice and clean. But then the gold eyes, I really have to admit, I like that. I really do. The gold eyes with the extra spider eyes at the back there as well. That looks cool. I'm surprised that they haven't done that for more spider-related characters, giving them the extra eyes. I mean, technically, I guess you should have 2 more somewhere, have the 8 spider eyes, but that notwithstanding, I actually really do like that. And the gold metallic sheen does pop on the character. So I dig it. And he's got his removable backpack as well, which is another nice little touch. You can pop that off there, and again, the little red spider eyes. It looks cute. It looks cute with more of the gold sheen as well. It just kind of brings out a sense of fun in this character, which I wasn't expecting to have. A flaw, though, I will say, are his boots. He's got these boots which are fun, I guess. Like it's a okay design, but they actually limit his foot movement. You can rotate the feet, but pointing them, well, you can't really point them, which is always tricky for me. When I've got a character who's athletic and like a martial artist or a spider character, I want them to be able to point their toes, because that just looks natural when they're jumping and swinging through the air. So not being able to point the toes, it's a bit of a down point for that character. That's a bit of a shame. Speaking of down points, he doesn't have any butterfly joints either, which I guess is maybe a bit of a caveat, a compromise for the fact that he's such a small frame. I don't know if this figure, if this body has been used before. It's too small to be Amazing Fantasy, surely. I've never had Amazing Fantasy in hand, but I think this is particularly small. So help me out if this has been used before. But similarly with the disc swiveling waist, it's got that kind of ugly sort of look to it. So he does feel very basic. When you fork over $25 for something that you could almost actually just disappear inside your hand, it's like, really? Really? But also, at least he does have an extra head as well. He's basically got what I wanted Venom to have. He's got a monsterized spider head, because that's his thing. He sort of monsters out and gets the mouth, and it looks kind of fun. It looks a little bit weird because it's kind of incorporated into his mask. I'm like, I don't know if I like that. I'm sticking with the regular, sleek-looking spider head right here. Also, he comes with thwipping hands, which is kind of funny because he doesn't spin webs. So, kind of a tribute to Spider-Man, I guess. So he's okay. But honestly, that's all he is. He's just okay. Now we got someone who I really like, and this is where this list is going to start to move up a notch. Electro, lady-electro, who is probably being butchered by the green screen, but at least you can see the proper one on the main screen. Francine Fry, Electro's main squeeze, who goes on to become his kind of replacement, really. This is a nice figure. I really dig this. I was looking forward to this, when she arrived, she lived up to my expectations. She actually has the same kind of articulation as Agent Venom, which I complained about on him, where she's got the torso swivel, which is nice, but then she doesn't have anything at the waist. I think I kind of forgive that, just because that's what most female characters have with Marvel Legends. In the words of Whitney Houston, it's not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it anyway. Pack your bags up and leave. Don't you ever come back to me. Sorry, I got carried away. So I'm used to that kind of articulation or lack thereof, but that doesn't mean it's okay, especially when G.I. Joe are doing more kinds of articulation in the waist. Actually, what am I saying? Marvel Legends are doing articulation like this with their Black Widow and whatnot. So it's there, you're just not doing it. Makes me mad, especially because besides that, this is a really good figure. I like a good legacy character. People say that's unimaginative, but I kind of dig it. I like this gender swap right here. And the backstory's cool, in which she was Max Dillon's girlfriend and he accidentally electrocuted her while they were kissing and killed her. But then I think it was Ben Reilly as the Jackal who resurrected her with her electric powers, because she had Max Dillon's DNA. It was cool. I dig it. And that also makes me think that we need a Ben Reilly Jackal figure, even though I hated that story. So the face sculpt, oh man, it's good, because this is a character who is gleefully bad. I wouldn't say she's evil, but she's bad and she loves it. She's got no problem being a villain, and this face captures it. In fact, I'd go so far as to say, mwah! Chef's kiss for the Francine Fry face sculpt. Real nice, with the sculpting of the mask all around it as well. I would say she doesn't need an extra head. This does it, because the gleeful smile with the bright red lipstick, that works for a battle or a standing, regular, relaxed pose. She's just in a good mood. And if she's fighting superheroes, well, she's having a great time doing it. So I've got a lot of time for that. The rest of the body, similar problems with the articulation. Well, not problems, but just things to point out. Just like Spider-Boy, no butterfly joints, just regular. It's the most basic of the excuse me, I'm speaking so fast I'm getting hiccups. It's the most basic version of the female body, but it does the job. At least she's got some extra sculpting on her belt pieces here, which do flesh her out a bit more, make her a bit more interesting. Besides that, though, like I was saying previously, everything is painted on here. It would have been lovely if they could have sculpted the lightning bolts going down, but it wasn't meant to be. So it's a bare bones figure, which is then, of course, made up for by the bright, colourful electricity. So I was trying to pick it up while it was hooked onto Unlimited Spider-Man. The electricity goes a long way. So when I say bare bones, that's not really fair. The figure is bare bones, but she does have these nice little effects here. Does that make her good value for money? Honestly, in the year of our Lord 2025, who's to say what's good value for money these days? What I will say, though, is that I actually really like this girl. Now the penultimate figure is one that people have been so psyched to get their hands on, myself included. It is the Chameleon, resplendent in his Spider-Man 94 animated series gear, which actually does have a 616 canon appearance as well. So don't feel that you're compromising your 616 display by putting this guy in there, because I'm pretty sure it was Web of Spider-Man in the mid-90s had him rocking this costume after appearing in the animated show, so you can put him wherever you want. That's exactly what I'm going to do. The original Chameleon was really showing his age. He was decent, but that old suit body, it wasn't great. This is popping. I'm not going to do the pop thing again because I've done that already this episode, but I like it. I was disappointed at first. When they revealed it was the animated style suit, I thought, oh man, I kind of wanted smoking jacket, sort of classic OG Chameleon. But actually, the way that this has been implemented and put together, I really like it because it is so bright and it makes sense. You know, I've got my characters in a battle scene, in a battle diorama, so it makes sense that Chameleon would be wearing a combat suit. So that's really great. And all the sculpting work on here, it's lovely. It really is. Just talking about Francine Fry, who had pretty much almost no extra sculpting, this dude, he's got the ruffles. He's got the lines, the seams, the creases in the suit. And of course, the boot cuts are, well, the thigh cuts are at the boots. So that's nice. I mean, of course they are, but it makes sense. It's real nice. And it makes the boots feel like separate pieces, which again, they kind of are. So that's real nice right there. The lovely metallic blue on the belt, again, makes it pop, makes it feel like it's just worth more. So I got a lot of time for that. The colors are just so bright. I love the oranges and the reds. He's got this separate neck piece, which, you know, just kind of floats around there, but it does sit pretty snug. Then, of course, what really won me over when I first saw him in the box is the head itself. The actual Chameleon head. I think they did a fantastic job. I really, really do. Yes, it's stoic, but that's okay. Would I have liked a separate coming to get you type Chameleon head? Of course I would. You know me. That's my jam. I love my going into battle type faces. But I'm not going to begrudge him either because the shading on here, it looks real great. You get that close up on the eyes and the darker grey around there. The way it kind of blends seamlessly into the white of the face. It's gorgeous. Like it really, Marvel Legends team, you know, I rag on you when I feel it's deserved. But it also means I give praise and credit when it's coming your way. And my goodness, this is a handsome Chameleon head. Really, really dig this. I'd even say a chef's kiss, but I've done that already this episode too. No, really, really like this guy. A little diamond in the rough. Plus the extra mask that he has in his hands. I like the way that the Marvel Legends team did say they included that as kind of a tribute to the old style of Chameleon, because anyone who knows anything about anything knows that this version of Chameleon with this suit, it was like an image inducer. It was like a hologram that would appear over him, whereas the mask obviously is therefore surplus to requirements, but it's nice to have it, so you got that old style Chameleon too. So on the whole, yeah, just to go more technical, no butterflies on this guy either. Bit of a shame, but I guess they didn't want to break up his nice suit. And again, disc swivel waist. It feels antiquated, but I'd just be repeating myself. That notwithstanding, though, I actually really do dig this guy. And finally, the pièce de la résistance, for me at least, Kaine. My one most desired, wanted, requested, pleaded for, and ultimately manifested figure. Folks, we got him. But is it everything we want? Well, no, it's not. But I was always going to be a greedy little piggy when it came to this. Of course I want him, but he's not a super deluxe maximum Kaine figure, so of course I'm disappointed. But he is a decent, good Marvel legend. One thing that does stick in my craw, though, more than anything else, is that he's small. He's not small, but he should be bigger. And a lot of people, and I ain't mad at you, because not everyone is a super Clone Saga nerd like I am. But even though Kaine is a clone of Peter Parker, he should be bigger. Because his suffering from clone degeneration enhances his spider powers, but also mutates his body so that he is bigger than Peter Parker. I think he's meant to be listed as like 6'6" or something like that. So he should be on a much more jacked up body, actually towering over Peter Parker and the Scarlet Spider. Instead, he's kind of standing shoulder to shoulder with them. And that kind of sticks in my craw. Kaine should be a tank, basically. Instead, he's just kind of normal, which is okay, because at least we got him. And that counts for a lot. And what we have got with this is some nice sculpting going on here. Just like with Spider-Man Unlimited, they actually sculpted in the details. So all of these lines here on the suit, they're all sculpted. So I can't be too mad at Hasbro, because again, it would have been so easy to just paint them on, but it would have looked a bit naff. So the fact that they actually sculpted them, and for those not in the know, this is actually an organic suit. It's not alive like a symbiote, but it's a kind of an organic compound that feeds nutrients into his body that slows down his clone degeneration. So all the lines that you're seeing here on the suit are actually lines on his body from the clone degeneration kind of like showing through. It's kind of cool. So there you go. So I do love that. And also they have gone for a little bit of extra detail, which I wasn't sure they were going to do. You can see on the arms here, he's got this little spider symbol that's actually carved in here. Honestly, dollars to donuts, I thought they were going to skip that, but they didn't. So that's kind of nice, because actually in the comics he has two little stabbers that spring out of there. He's got it on both hands. I think he actually only has it on one hand in the comics, but again, I'm being super nerdy. One thing that does disappoint me a bit is that his hands don't have any lines on them. They're just normal hands, and it feels very much like they're missing, because there's such a clear cut of lines on the arms, lines all over the body, and then it just stops at the hands. And that is a shame, because it just stands out. It looks like he has the wrong hands on, like I've lost his hands and I've replaced them with the closest ones that match. That's a bit of a shame. So going up the rest here, the actual sculpt of his pink shawl, I don't know why he wears it. It just looks cool. But it does actually look real nice. I love that, again, they've gone to the effort of having it go under his arm like it does in the comics as well. Guys, thumbs up. So, you know, I'm ragging on stuff, but also I really do appreciate it as well. And then for the head sculpt itself, the flowing hair is kind of nice. There's no sort of shading that I can see on the hair. It would have been nice if it was slightly more shaded, but it's all just one flat color. And the face sculpt itself, as stoic as Kaine should look. Although they've gone for the white eyes, and in 99% of Kaine artwork, there are no eyes. You've got the outlines of the eyes, of course, but they're the same color as the suit. I think I would have preferred that. To be honest, hand on heart, I would have preferred to have just had the eyes the same color as the suit, but I'm not going to knock it because it's actually extra effort to put the eyes on there, so I give them credit. Would have loved, oh boy, I would have loved a separate head with a mangled Phantom of the Opera Peter Parker face. That would have been, that would have tipped it over the edge. But unfortunately, he's a bit more bare bones in that regard. And also for the color scheme itself, they've gone for like the inverted colors, because I normally see his suit as light blue with silver lines on there. But sometimes an artist will draw him in the shadows and they kind of flip it. Sometimes that's how they do with Spider-Man, where it's kind of like flipped with the colors to show it in shadow. Again, not a knock against the figure, because it's a decision they made. They saw the artwork and went, that's what we're going to go with. And I respect that. So he is flawed, but he's also got a lot of good stuff going for him. And let's face it, this is one of the most obscure characters from Spider-Man, and it's such a staple of the 90s clone saga, and it's only with the Marvel Legends business model, as much as we don't like it, that we get this character. So despite all my belly aching, I do love this, because it's Kaine from the Clone Saga, and we've got a brand new toy of him in 2025. How can I possibly be mad? So gang, to wrap up this review, I think I'm going to do a real quick ranking, because we've been here for a while, but let me take you through it. So in the lowest spot, I gotta say, Bailey Briggs' Spider-Boy. And considering that this is the lowest, that's actually not too bad, because he's not a bad figure. Just a bit small and flimsy, not too much going on with him. But then we got ourselves Agent Venom, who's got a lot of good stuff, but man, just missing the butterfly joints, missing the waist swivel, kind of brings him down a notch. Plus, the extra head is nice, but doesn't look like Flash Thompson. But then we're going to move up quite a bit with Spider-Man Unlimited. The biggest surprise of this was the fact it was a surprise, because I was totally ready to write this figure off. But instead, the more I play around with him, the more I really like him. So this was a nice surprise here. Then we got Francine Fry, the best bad girl out there. A whole lot of fun, really animated looking facial expression, and the electricity, that pops off there. Then as much as I would want him to be number one, we got my boy Kaine in the penultimate spot. Love this character, but the figure, if he was just a little bit bigger, and especially with an alternate head, that would have been game over. And then finally, in the number one spot, it's the Chameleon. Just so bright and colourful, so bold, pops off the shelf, straight out of the cartoon with a great head sculpt that isn't too animated, so he can go wherever you want him. And folks, that does it for my review of the Spider-Man Retro Wave. Whew! What do you think about these figures? Comment below, let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you know what you gotta do. You gotta join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And guys, if you want to support this channel and help me buy some of these action figures, then you can do by going to the YouTube channel membership section. By getting a channel membership, you can take part in the daily channel member live streams that I do, which are always such a blast. It's a great community, and I'm so happy to have so many people being a part of it. Also, if you want to purchase some of these figures, because I can afford to buy them, but I can't afford to keep them. So if you want to purchase some of these figures, if you're in the UK, you can go over to the Marvel Legends Facebook group. I'll probably be selling them on there, or possibly the Model Behaviour Facebook group. I might try experimenting with selling things on there, because we don't allow sales on there, but at the same time, it's my Facebook group. So I can do what I want if the admins let me. They're very strict. So check out the Facebook group to help me sell some of these and keep buying new ones. So gang, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Yeah.